in Holland at Hope College at the American Handball Championship. Day 3 placement day as we get set to see Minnesota take on DC in the 7th place game. Jeff Disher with you, flying solo for the first game out. As we are underway. Minnesota with possession to start proceedings. This one found by Wakabayashi, and eventually Wakabayashi will pick it up. Whistle goes, will stay here with possession. Minnesota will maintain. Wakabayashi over to the far side. That is Tommy Kaslaw to Sam Erickson. Anderson, Wakabayashi over to the far side. Wakabayashi near wing. Shot, save made, and DC will regather as they bring it the other way. Nil-nil early stages. We'll let the clock roll on the floor. Foul before the shot. And DC will handle the ball. Gothi, spin move, not going to work as that shot floats wide, and Minnesota will regain control. Wakabayashi delivers over to the far side. Out of play. Here goes DC. Back up the floor they come. And across, this is Denial. Denial swings to Gothi. Swung it to Zadayev. Zadayev to Gothi. Gothi looking for Zadayev. Gothi picks it up. Foul. Around 2 minutes in, 2.5 minutes in to this one, goalless in the 7th place game. Whistle goes, halt to play. I see a Go Minnesota on the chat. Feel free to engage. Jeff Disher with you, by the way, as I have been all weekend. And a whistle goes here. Seventh place on the line between Minnesota and DC to start day 3 as Denial finds this. It goes to Zadayev. Zadayev tried to work it near the 6. Not going to work, but DC keeps the ball. That pass intended for Gothi goes the other way. Wakabayashi scores. Two 0 Minnesota in the 4th minute. Whistle before the shot. It is actually 1-0 as Minnesota takes possession. Wakabayashi, that would be 2. And it's 2-0 Minnesota. 5th minute of play as DC handles with Gothi at the center back. Flipped on, Denial, scores. Minnesota crosses the timeline as this one is worked on by Andrew Anderson, the 5'9", 170-pound left wing. Over to the far side, Wakabayashi center backing. Anderson, Wakabayashi. Over to the far side. That is Case Law. Case Law swim move down low. Goes to Erickson. Erickson, Wakabayashi. Wakabayashi nearly had it stolen from him. Whistle goes. .540 into a 25-minute opening half as Minnesota maintains possession in their attack. Erickson to Case Law and back. Wakabayashi leads back to Erickson. Bouncing shot goes wide. And DC will come the other way. Denial near side as this goes to Gothi. Gothi trying to gain position. Gothi, harm, and the whistle goes for a foul. Denial held as Gothi tried to feather a pass. That was stolen, and that home run ball intended for Wakabayashi goes by the wayside. And a short side shot wouldn't go for DC as Wakabayashi will walk it up. Bounce pass into the attack. Wakabayashi at the 6, bump, and a halt to play. Minnesota with the quick restart for Wakabayashi. As Wakabayashi throws one over the net. DC advances across the timeline. And over comes Gothi. Gothi shoots. Foul before the shot. But indeed, Jeff Disher flying solo as a shot whistled down before the ball trickled in the net. And a foul called, leading to a 7-meter for Minnesota. 2-1 our score, early stages of the first half. Case Law scores. 3-1. DC will pick the ball back up, and back into play we go. Nearly a double dribble there, not going to work for DC as Minnesota goes the other way very quickly. Shot in the goal. Bella. 4-1 Minnesota as DC crosses into their attack real quickly. Gothi leading the charge for DC. Down 3 in the early stages. Gothi dropped it off. Quick shot by Denial, denied as it whistled high. Here comes Wakabayashi and company. Erickson, drop down low, save made. And DC will come the other way. Denial, dropped, Gothi. Gothi, dropped over near corner. And the loose ball picked up by Tristan Malatrat for Minnesota. Wakabayashi advances across the timeline with Erickson. That first unit out in the first 10 minutes and change for Minnesota. Wakabayashi drops this. Wakabayashi scores. 5-1, 10 minutes in. DC has not had an answer for Minnesota's attack so far. Gothi tried to feather that pass through. Tristan Malatrat looking for Wakabayashi. He scores. That ball coming out just as quickly as it went in. Gothi from denial. Gothi waiting. Goes cross court. Gothi trying that nifty feather of that pass through, and the shot goes in. Now 6-2. As Minnesota will regather and take control. Hampton and Erickson controlling on the left side for Minnesota. Wakabayashi at the center back position as this one is worked around. Wakabayashi, Erickson, drop down low to Hampton. Hampton, Erickson, Wakabayashi. Bounce pass, or bounce shot off the iron and out as the possession will stay with Minnesota. 12 minutes in, shot and a goal. 7-2. DC with possession as they are down a 5 spot. Quick shot, denial, and it stayed out. 7-2 as Minnesota crosses the timeline. That shot will go in. And it goes to case law. Now DC having trouble finding an answer for the offense presented as Fayek delivering defensively as that shot goes high. 8-2 Minnesota. As Wakabayashi and co will cross the timeline. Hampton drops this to Erickson. Wakabayashi. Loose ball. Erickson will, Erickson will pick it up. Hampton, Erickson, Wakabayashi. Wakabayashi walks up to the 9. Has the pass delivered to him. Bear hug, halt play, clock rolls. Ball delivered back by Aaron Japs. As a jump pass, quick shot, save made, whistle halts play at the 6. I believe a 7-meter has been called. It has. Japs scores it 9-2. As the ball advances into DC's offensive zone, we'll execute a quick line change. Nine to our score as the man with the most hats in Holland joins us.
The unfortunate distinction of having the, the most roles here. Thanks for having me.
Not a bad thing. Watch that camera movement, though. That is a little stronger than you would imagine as Minnesota enters the offensive or their attack zone.
There we go.
We'll check the score here in a second. 9-2 Minnesota. That we do know. And DC really, Joe, reminding me, or I'll get to that point in a second as a Bear Hug Halts play. DC reminding me of the way Detroit played in its first game on Friday, where Detroit came out slowly, got some offense, but just couldn't withstand the onslaught.
Yeah, I think it's been a long weekend for DC as Minnesota scores. I don't know what Detroit's excuse was because it was the first game, but I know DC's been battling injuries and exhaustion.
Same could be said for a lot of us.
However, I know that Detroit was able to bounce back
and
over
they
the course
did.
Of the tournament.
They did 2 hours later.
And due to an unfortunate administrative kerfluffle performed by none other than yours truly, I think they would have also been in championship contention had it not been for a rookie error on the part of the organizer. And the same goes for Minnesota as well. So, yeah, both teams were affected by a unfortunate mistake on my part. It came to the rules, but you live, you learn. Thankfully, both teams were very gracious about the mistake, very understanding, and we'll adapt and try to do better next time.
And a yellow card issued on the floor against Minnesota. 10-2 late stages of the first half. He is the man, the myth, the legend, Joe Williams. Jeff Disher up high at the DeVos Fieldhouse. As Tristan Melitrot making a save for Minnesota, keeping their 8-goal lead intact. Bouncing ball, quick shot up over the cage, and that's something that DC has struggled with, would be shot accuracy as well, which does not help offensively as Storage driven to the turf. Inside the 6, he's arguing, wanting a call that he will not, or that he will get, as a 7-meter called for Minnesota, and case law will look to take it. My favorite last name on the Minnesota team handball gentlemen as they score, going up 11-2.
And if you're admiring this beautiful blue court here at the American Handball Championship,
let's talk about the surface.
Well, you actually have the goal scorer just now to thank for it, because he
case law,
exactly. Tommy, he single-handedly put together the court along with his lovely girlfriend and a few other volunteers. So if you ever see Tommy, make sure to thank him for doing such a great job with this amazing floor.
And I saw it being put together as I was here Thursday. That shot up off a glove and off iron and stays out. Saw it being put together on Thursday afternoon. You guys did a great job with the surface, and it I have heard and seen a lot of compliments from different players as a timeout called. Timeout called, roughly 5 minutes left to play. And I believe DC took the timeout down 9. That's what you would expect, just based logically. But a lot of compliments from players about the surface. No soft spots, no seams, floor's not coming up among the comments I've heard.
Hear that, Tommy? Hopefully, when Tommy watches this again, he hears that, because he spent a very large amount of time and effort to make sure that it was as pristine as it is.
And it's playing great in its third day. I could see temporary courts around the country, maybe around the world, softening up as they're played on. But this floor has stayed consistent throughout.
Yes, it has. And unfortunately, I might have to bow out here because I've got
No
3
problem.
different errands to run right now. But I will be back soon. Thank you very much.
Indeed, Joe. Off the timeout. DC with DC with possession. As it is 11-2. Late stages of half number 1. Shot and a goal, no. A travel. We'll keep the ball here. Second effort, saved Malatrot. DC keeping the ball for an extended possession, down 11-2. And we'll check the score at the break just to be sure, as a shot goes begging for DC. Hampton gets this to Erickson. Erickson goes over to Josh Hederick. Hederick seeing his first time on the floor. Hederick works this. Hederick gets it to Erickson. Erickson, Hederick. Hederick going left back. Shot and a goal. Minnesota up 12-2. DC with possession. As the one-man band continues, Jeff Disher here. Feel free to contribute over the course of the day. I'll have the 5th place game coming up as well. Detroit playing in that one. And then you get to the big money. Detroit and Toronto coming up next. Miami, Milwaukee for 3rd. And then Pickerington and Columbus to put a cap on the 2023 American Handball Championship. 12-2 Minnesota in the 22nd minute as DC enters their attack zone. Ball out of play. Whistle goes. I believe a timeout has been called with 3 minutes and a second to play in the game's first half. Back underway, under 3 minutes to play in the first half. As Minnesota handles in their attack. Storich dropped this to Hampton. Hampton and Storich playing catch. This goes back to Hedrick. Sort of drifting into an unnatural position is Hedrick. Storich. Hedrick tried to get through two. He did. Bouncing shot goes high, but he drew the contact. And a 7-meter. Erickson to take it. Scores. 13-2, 2 minutes and 10 seconds to play in the game's opening half. Keep in mind, time at the table. We do the best we can to get as close as we can as DC enters their attack zone. Goethe got it from Denial over to the far side. That one blocked. And here goes Stefan Storch. Fast break time. Jackson Hampton, kick, save, and a beauty by DC's goalkeeper. Hampton kicking himself as he comes back down the floor. And Minnesota into a flat 6. Or a 6 flat. Denial. Goethe. Goethe waiting. Denial. Works this one on. Ball stolen. As that ball over Hedrick's head, and Hedrick would have had to grow maybe 2.5, 3 feet to make that catch. Minute and 10 left to play unofficially in the first half. As DC enters their attack. For those just joining us, the one-man band, Jeff Disher here. High atop the DeVos Fieldhouse. As a bear hug by Hedrick leads to a whistle. Halt of play briefly. Denial gets it back. Denial looking to Goethe. Goethe, bear hug, halt play. And the clock rolls. Final seconds of the first half, about 30 seconds by our estimation. As a shot goes in for DC, 13-3. This should be the final movement of the half as Hedrick gets this from Hampton. Hedrick tried to feather a pass through. Did. Shot and a goal, Minnesota up 14-3. And that will do it for half number 1. We'll pause, have a score update for you, and get you prepared for the third place game, or the fifth place game rather, as Detroit takes on Toronto.